Welcome back to another episode of Branching Out with F&M Bank. I'm your host, Mary Pavlovskaya, and today I'm joined by Greg Beam from the SDDA. Welcome back, Greg.
Hey, thank you.
I'm so excited. In our last episode, we talked a little bit about how businesses were pivoting and what that kind of looked like to bring business into downtown. And you had mentioned that restaurants had experienced a lot specifically in this time frame. So tell us a little bit about the initiative that you guys had on Beverly Street with closing it down and having outdoor seating.
That was a really wonderful collaboration between our downtown business owners, as well as City Hall, as well as our city officials, coming together to brainstorm what can we do, how could we help those restaurants survive during the pandemic once their indoor seating was reduced. And so through a lot of discussions, a lot of Zoom calls, and a lot of thoughts, we eventually landed on Dine Out in Downtown. And we created the parameters for that, and the restaurant owners worked together and figured out okay, which chairs they could use and how do they set up their kind of barricades. And they really did a wonderful job of pulling that together quickly. And we launched that in June. And it was a risk. You know, you don't know how the community would necessarily respond to something like that. But all in all, we've received, wonderful reviews. We've extended the program, and now it's scheduled to run through November 1st. Community loves it because it is that a little bit of sense of normalcy with being able to go out and still enjoy some of these local restaurants and foods, but without, sometimes folks are not ready to go back inside yet. And so they're enjoying the outside dining option. It's been successful, I think, for everyone, and community and restaurants. So.
No, it was great to see, and it was great to see people eating outside again and
Sure.
just being able to go out and just be together, even though safely,
Right.
but still be together. So that was great to see your initiative with that.
Right.
Now I know there was a second almost hit on Staunton with the flooding. How was that handled?
Right. So in August then, as we kind of felt that we were getting the swing of the Dine Out in Downtown program and the setup and sort of the execution of that initiative, then the floods occurred in August. And another horrible situation and a whole new set of challenges. Once again, we worked with our friends with city government and brainstormed, what can we do? How can we help in this response? For the SDDA, we opted to get out and kind of meander around the morning after and just see where folks were, ask what they needed. We were able to use our social media and our website to just kind of update, these are needs, this is where businesses are currently and what they're asking for. What was phenomenal during all of that was the immediate response from the community, from folks saying they want to get out there and they want to help, and they're going to bring buckets and they're going to help take water out of buildings, or they were going to help wipe down furniture and tables covered with water and soot and grease, and or they were willing to donate cash and support these businesses, knowing that these businesses will need financial resources when they would reopen. It was quick, it was immediate, and it was overwhelming. We worked with organizations such as the Staunton Creative Community Fund. We were on the phone early the morning after the first flood and SCCF established a GoFundMe page, which helped. We had community members donate supplies and materials. It's just endless, the amount of support we received. So, and very thankful as many of our businesses have reopened since. We have a few businesses that are still in that process. We have a few businesses that are choosing to explore options and maybe will reopen in other spaces within the district. So all in all, despite all of those challenges, amazing, wonderful things happened out of that. And so we're all still thankful and blessed for that.
Yeah, and I heard a great feel-good story that you guys had so many volunteers that you actually had to start turning people away.
Yeah, we had so many folks. We were trying to quickly list needs and match volunteers with needs and locations, because we had so many folks arriving that maybe don't follow us on social media. They have no idea what's going on with that, but they just wanted to arrive and help. Meanwhile, you're still in the middle of a pandemic. So, you don't want to draw 200 people to a tent to help them distribute things. So we were still trying to be mindful of that. But yeah, it was just unreal. It was phenomenal, the amount of response we received. And also, I still think the support from the city, from City Hall and from Public Works, and that carried away trash constantly, and debris and the police department and fire, everyone working together to help get back on our feet as quickly as possible.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And that's great to see that even though through a pandemic and a massive flooding, a flash flooding that no one even anticipated, just to see the turnout of how quickly people were able to help and how quickly you guys were able to come back from everything that happened. Sure. But maybe you could foreshadow a little bit into the future. I mean, we are getting into the colder months.
Sure.
Is there any plans, like what if the pandemic continues into early next year?
Sure. We are thinking, I shared with folks recently, we're going to have to get the band back together here as far as the Dine Out in downtown folks that started that initiative. We're going to have to think again. What do we do leading into January, February, March? By then the patios have rolled up. By then the holidays have passed. It's going to be cold. Folks aren't going to necessarily be meandering around on the streets. They may potentially be more fearful of being in small enclosed spaces. Together as a downtown business community, we need to work together once again and develop maybe more supports, more online options, more delivery, more supports, resources in that way, working together. The SDDA, one of our big campaigns we're getting ready to roll out is called Downtown is Home. And so that will be one of our campaigns that begins and carries through this year. You can enjoy downtown in person or still safely from home. And Staunton downtown is home to so many of us, and that's what we want to continue to promote and grow. So.
Well, that's great. That is so good to hear. It's so good to hear that the community is coming together, and I have absolute faith that whatever comes our way in either the end of this year or the beginning of next year, I have no doubt that Staunton's going to be able to go through it.
Yeah, we're thankful. It takes all of us working together to continue to push forward. So
absolutely.
I'm hopeful of that. So.
Me too. Well, it has been wonderful talking to you again, Greg.
Thank
you so much for coming back to us.
Thanks so much.
I'm glad to talk about the restaurants, and I can't wait to see what you guys do in the future.
Thank you.
But thanks for joining us for another episode of Branching Out with F&M Bank.